Welcome to another thrilling episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host Gemma, and today I'll be taking you through Psycho Rangers Backstory Explored. The Power Rangers series, which has been on our television screen since 1993, has never ceased developing and improving. It surprised us at moments, but it also jumped the shark at times. While they may have abused the dark hero type cliche with their wicked Shadow Rangers in Power Rangers Turbo, as well as in Power Rangers Wild Force, they did an excellent job of creating terrifying and memorable antagonists with the addition of the Psycho Rangers. These ferocious enemies, who are essentially replicas of the Space Rangers in Power Rangers in Space, as well as Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, are ideal opponents for the Rangers. At the same time, not an identical replica, each Psycho Ranger of each colour absorbed the hero's brain patterns. This enabled them to emulate their combat tactics and weaponry, putting them on the same level as all of the Space Rangers. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, let's begin. Who are Psycho Rangers? The Psycho Rangers have an interesting backstory and are the outcome of a dysfunctional family feud. Corone, who is the Red Space Ranger and Andros' sister, was taken as a youngster and grew up to become Astronomer, who is, incidentally, one of the galaxy's most dreaded villains. She developed the Psycho Rangers to battle the Power Rangers, whom she unjustly blamed for murdering her family after a great deal of conditioning, turning evil and then eviler. She died and was resurrected as the future Pink Galaxy Ranger. The Psycho Rangers made their very first appearance in the season Rangers Gone Psycho as a bunch of fake Power Rangers whose only job was to launch lasers haphazardly into the air. After we see them exposing their true selves, the Psycho Rangers provide the viewers with a succinct yet accurate description of who they are. They cockily claim to be just like the Power Rangers, with the difference being that they're faster, smarter, stronger, and most importantly, more evil than all of the original Rangers. Astronomer covertly tied her team to her boss, who was Dark Spectre, and interlinked their strength to his when forming the Psycho Rangers, which meant that every spark-filled and deranged conflict depleted her master's level of power. Since Astronomer was attempting to replace Dark Spectre, most bouts were purposefully stretched out or delayed, despite the fact that victory was inevitable. In their debut appearance, for example, the Psycho Rangers are ready to annihilate the Power Rangers using their very special Dragon Ball Z style energy beams when Astronomer calls them back unexpectedly. The Psychos, on the other hand, were too fixated with completely annihilating the Power Rangers and went on to become more and more agitated every time Astronomer would repeatedly call them off from their confrontations with the Rangers, just as they were about to destroy them. The untethered fixation with the Rangers eventually led to the Psycho Rangers confronting the Power Rangers on their own, resulting in the demise of Psycho Blue and Psycho Pink. They were destroyed when the Power Rangers found that each Psycho was meant to combat the associated Power Ranger. With Blue and Pink no longer present, the Rangers were able to eliminate the rest of the Psycho Rangers, Yellow, Black, and Red. The Psychos, on the other hand, continued to live on as a spirit version of their mortal forms. Later, when Astronomer used a special machine to transform Power Rangers along with many Angel Grove residents into cards packed with data, the Psycho Rangers were able to enter the device and finally regain their physical bodies. They liberated the Power Rangers from the data card forms they were in, so that they could fulfill their lifelong mission of personally destroying them. Despite being hopelessly outmatched, the Power Rangers somehow managed to win and turn the Psycho Rangers into data cards. These cards, however, managed to make their way and fall into the hands of the crafty Deviate, a general of Scorpius, and a secondary villain in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, who proceeded to unleash the Psycho Rangers and dispatch them to hunt down all of the Galaxy Power Rangers. However, the Space Rangers made a return and joined forces with them to vanquish all the evil Psycho Rangers, eliminating all of them but Psycho Pink. In addition, while the Psycho Pink Ranger is the very first Psycho Ranger to be defeated in Power Rangers in Space, she is the final Psycho to be defeated in the Power of Pink. Psycho Pink obtains the legendary Savage Sword after neurologically draining the Pink Galaxy Ranger. The sword is an energy-sucking weapon that gets larger with each stroke. After obtaining it, she battled the Pink Galaxy Ranger and Space Ranger, successfully driving the blade clean through the morpher of the Pink Space Ranger. This led to its complete destruction, while also absorbing the morpher's energy to create a tornado. Psycho Pink attacked both teams' Megazords after changing into her monster version and advancing, but was destroyed eventually. Eventually, Psycho Pink distinguishes herself from every other villainous Power Ranger by actually managing to kill a good Power Ranger, and especially by compelling the Pink Galaxy Ranger to sacrifice her life in an attempt to save the Pink Space Ranger. The Pink and Blue Psycho Rangers also make a special appearance in their monster forms when Queen Banshira unsealed the Shadow World's subterranean tomb. A significant aspect that makes the Psycho Rangers stand out from every other antagonist in the Power Rangers franchise is the fact that they have souls that are separate from their mortal bodies.
Pink, she's back, and she has a savage sword! It's more powerful than all the Quasar Sabers combined!
The Psycho's origins. The Psycho Rangers' outrageous abilities, such as summoning lightning bolts or transforming into lightning, are explained by the Dark Spectre, a cosmic demon. All of the Psycho Rangers are skilled spies that can check in on any phone conversation within Angel Grove because they were created to seek out their lawfully good counterparts. Additionally, the Psycho Rangers can travel across short distances instantaneously, change their appearance, and convert into colour-matched blurs of power, not unlike Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course, the Psycho Rangers' defining attack move is most definitely the Brain Drain, in which a Psycho Ranger steals their victim's energy and memories. While this strategy works on everyone, each Psycho is particularly focused on eradicating their colour-coordinated enemies. In addition, each Psycho Ranger possesses a monster form during Megazord battles. If in case a Psycho Ranger's human form is obliterated in a karate explosion, Astronomer can use satellite lasers in order to make her monsters expand as necessary.
You can't hide for long, Red Ranger. Begin scan.
Psycho Red. Psycho Red, who was later known to be Virgil, was actually the captain of all the Psycho Rangers, which made him possibly the most powerful, wicked, and vicious member of the squad. Astronomer developed the Psycho Rangers, which included Red, by destroying and using the people she killed as raw materials. Dark Spectre granted her this extraordinary power. After creating the Rangers, all of them were staunchly devoted to their mother as a Psycho Ranger. Virgil's brainwave frequencies were fashioned after Andross's, and as a consequence, he was equipped with Red Space Ranger techniques and strategies and weapon specifications. Psycho Red also possessed a monster form of the Fire Monster form and wielded the Psycho Sword as his weapon. Red, just like the rest of the Psycho Rangers, began as a violent and unstable mass killing madman who existed only for vengeance. However, after being reprogrammed by Psycho Green and under Caron's influence, Red grew calmer and more focused as he faced his newly developed capacity to feel empathy. When confronted in a debate by Caron, he demonstrated his commitment to his team by wishing to murder the Power Rangers because they had slaughtered his team twice. His third existence instilled in him a fresh sense of family loyalty, which paved the way for him to become a peaceful and loving leader. He developed an interest in movies after taking his moniker, Virgil, from a protagonist in a western he saw with his team. He initially struggled a great deal to adjust to a non-lethal combat technique, but in doing so, he demonstrated an adaptable intellect and the willingness to change when confronted with evidence of his own weakness and failings. Psycho Black. Psycho Black was the Psycho Rangers' Black Ranger and also their second in command. He was subsequently known as Photon. During his construction, he was modelled on Carlos's brain wave patterns and knew and understood all of Carlos's weaponry and techniques. He was the team's most level-headed member and was also one of the most inclined to obey directions. He nearly successfully eliminated Carlos with the help of the rest of the 4 Psycho Rangers, but was taken out of battle for some reason by Astronomer. Psycho Black possessed the monster form of a rock monster, and his weapon of choice was the Psycho Rod. He was eventually annihilated. Although the Psycho Rangers must battle their counterparts of the same shade in order to drain their energy, when they were reborn in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, the Psycho Black Ranger was content with battling a Green Ranger instead because the Galaxy Rangers lacked a black. This might imply that the energies of the green and black Power Rangers are the same or comparable. This is further supported in Power Rangers Super Mega Force, when Mega Force Black's Super Mega Mode appears green for some reason. Psycho Black's neck collar is gold rather than white, unlike the rest of the Psycho Rangers. The monster form of Psycho Black is also possibly the only one that has never been featured in any of the original American footage. He became significantly more sensible after his reincarnation at the hand of Psycho Green. Photon, the team's apparent information specialist and navigator, appears to be in charge of acquiring cultural information on other societies in the shape of films, songs, cuisine, and books.
Psycho Spin!
Psycho Blue. Psycho Blue is actually the Psycho Ranger's Blue Ranger, who later came to be known as Axe. He was based on TJ's brain wave patterns and was familiar with all of his techniques and weaponry. He was arguably the team's nastiest and most ruthless member. TJ was almost killed in battle, but Astronomer managed to drag him out of the fight. Psycho Blue wielded the Psycho Axe as his personal weapon and possessed the monster form of a glittering ice monster, which was later destroyed by the V3 missile attack of the winged Mega Voyager. Psycho Blue's terrifying monster form was also seen among the army of Rita Repulsa and Lord Zedd in Countdown to Destruction. Psycho Blue's monster form was seen in the Shadow World after Diabolico assisted the Lightspeed Rangers as well as Carter Grayson in defeating Queen Banshira. Before the tomb closed, Psycho Blue and the rest of the demons cornered Queen Banshira, trapping her with no escape. Upon his reincarnation due to Trek, Blue quickly becomes the most apathetic of all the Psycho Rangers. This may be demonstrated by the fact that he named himself after his preferred weapon, his indifference to his identity prior to becoming a Psycho Ranger, as well as his cool nonchalance in the lessons that were taught by Carone. He looks to have a more laid-back approach to life, developing himself primarily out of the respect for his family and generally not caring what transpires most of the time. He possesses fairness in sparring, as seen by his fierce retaliation after he was shot in the back by fellow Ranger Yellow, requesting for his axe and engaging in a fun battle with his brothers.
You're the one who needs the help. Gotcha!
Psycho Yellow Ranger. The Psycho Yellow Ranger is the Psycho Ranger's Yellow Ranger, who subsequently went on to adopt the moniker Yellow. Yellow is made based on Ashley Hammond's brainwave frequencies and understands everything there is to know about Ashley, her weaponry, and all her methods and strategies. She loves to work alone to achieve her objectives, and she uses the Psycho Sling as her personal weapon and has the monster form of a spider or hornet-like creature. Psycho Yellow first appears in her actual spider or hornet-like monster appearance on Onyx throughout Andross's disguised visit there, along with numerous other monsters. At the moment, Andross doesn't really interact with her. When the Psycho Rangers are hunting for a former villain to resurrect using the Reanimizer, they stumble upon Psycho Red and are joined by Psycho Yellow and the rest of the Psycho Rangers. The Psycho Yellow Ranger was analytical, rational and calm, typically taking everything in stride but exercising caution until she had a clearer understanding of a situation. She could be rather playful while trying out armaments, demonstrating a strong interest in developing new weapons and technologies. Unfortunately, she was not extremely trusting of the people around her since, even though she displayed a particular love for Carone, she was wise enough to not trust her at the moment. Yellow had the most contempt for her sense of self, refusing to accept a name other than her ranger colour, but she was by far the most practical and clever of her squad.
Psycho Pink!
Psycho Pink. The Pink Ranger, who is a part of the Psycho Rangers, is known as Psycho Pink. She is later referred to as Nokria. The Psycho Bow is Psycho Pink's personal weapon and the opponent of Cassie's satellite stunner. She also wields the Savage Sword, which is an ancient sword encased in rock of the planet of Rashon. The weapon was claimed to be more deadly than all of the Quasar sabers together. The plant monster is Psycho Pink's monstrous form. Psycho Pink was the very first Psycho Ranger the first to turn into her monster form, transforming into a monster while collaborating with Psycho Yellow in order to assault Cassie, only to be outmaneuvered and defeated by the Rangers. She appears to be one of the most power-hungry, vicious, and clever of all the Psycho Rangers, making her the most dangerous. However, it is exceedingly possible that we could argue that she is at par with the leader, Psycho Red. Her personality alters dramatically after her rebirth and placement under the care of the reformed Corone. Pink was the very first to perceive Corone as a maternal figure when Corone and Trek resurrected the Psycho Rangers. Nacrio was first perplexed and bewildered by the pity and compassion offered to her, even by the nearest thing she had ever had to a father, due to her extremely tragic background and treatment by others. She was, however, the first Psycho Ranger to pick a name for herself, demonstrating her newly discovered freedom from her initial conditioning. She knew, more than any other person in her family, why Corone intended to reconfigure them for a second time and murder them again. Psycho Green. Trek, originally known as Psycho Green, is a Psycho Ranger. He was also known as Supersonic Green, the Supersonic Ranger's Green Ranger. Although he was a native of the planet Zabria, Trek's origin and moment of enrollment as part of the Supersonic Rangers as their member and Green Ranger remain unknown. However, incidents from the team's last mission showed that Trek and the squad's Red Ranger, Ace, frequently disagreed about Ace's frequent choice to omit the Green Ranger from field operations. At some time, the creature who was known widely as Dark Spectre gained touch with Trek and began to implant in his mind that he was useless in the eyes of his crew and that they never regarded him as one of them. This idea eventually led Trek to follow all of Dark Spectre's commands. His weapon of choice was the Psycho Dagger, and his monster form was that of a huge, fiery green monster. Trek's monster form, just like the rest of the Psycho Rangers, activates following his first annihilation, gaining enormous strength and size as well as a new look. Trek was known to be envious, boastful, combative, and hostile with both his squad and his opponents, even when he was a ranger. His rage at the seer, Ace, turned murderous as he slaughtered his whole crew with a morph bomb, indicating that Trek was knowledgeable, tactical, and had a measured grasp of the flaws and mindsets of people surrounding him, which is compatible with his skills as an empath. Despite his present psychotic state as a result of Dark Spectre's empowerment, Trek appeared to have an arrogant, angry, and resentful attitude towards his former colleagues. The Psycho Rangers were possibly the finest evil rival team to appear on any Saturday morning children's television schedule, being cockier than even the Rowdy Rough Boys and much more unfair than the Injustice Gang. While in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we had Commander Crayfish, as well as the Putty Power Rangers, and Power Rangers Turbo had all of the Shadow Rangers. Such dark shadows of the Rangers were never as well known as the Psycho Rangers, who are just a legitimately scary menace with a distinctive look. That also distinguished them from other villainous Rangers, such as the Cyborg Rangers that made an appearance in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, all of the A Squad that we see in Power Rangers SPD, as well as the Darkest Timeline Rangers present in Power Rangers Time Force and the rest of the Shadow Rangers that feature in Power Rangers Wild Force. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
Good job, 2J.